and welcome to episode 144 of the Strength Hammer Podcast. That's right, the strongest, most beautiful, handsomest Warhammerist podcast you've ever seen. Everyone else is a liar. They don't actually play Warhammer. Just they don't even lift, bro.
No, they don't lift or they don't play Warhammer. One of those two. Only we play Warhammer and lift.
There is zero other podcasts out there that are about fitness and Warhammer, right, Alex?
Uh, no comment on this one.
It's fine. Shout out to Grimdark Games, another great podcast you can go listen to that is more fitness focused, less Warhammer. So the opposite of this one, which is
way more fitness focused.
I'm waiting for you and Eli to get so big that you sponsor this podcast. That's the hope.
That'll be awesome. I mean, we're on a track to invite one guest a month. So you're definitely going to be on our podcast in the near future.
Sounds good. I've been lazy. I have a plethora of great folks that would be willing to come on. I've had people on before, but like
100%.
I'm like, I should ask Vince Venturella. I should get Ben Mudge back on. I should get maybe Scary back on. I should get maybe Mini Wargaming Dave. Like I'm like all these wonderful people who would be, yeah, Chuck, I'll come talk to you. I'm just lazy.
I mean, it's different mentality, right? Because this is part of a hobby for you.
Yes.
Grimdark Games is like a business, right? So like it's our job to make sure like we invite people and promote ourselves. So it's a little bit different.
Yes, but I want to thank everybody that has enjoyed this journey, that just enjoys, whether it's, I mean, if you follow Alex, you follow him for very different reasons than you follow me, for sure, because Alex isn't posting about freaking retro video games like I did today. So
I do post lawn stuff, so
I love that. I love that lawn. Just like I forced Taylor Swift to be a Warhammer content, so is the lawn.
Sure. And it's funny because like a few people will comment like, "Yes, well done. I know where this is from."
Mm-hmm.
That's
They're the real OGs out there.
The real OGs, yeah. Everybody else is like, okay, his lawn is kind of weird. Why do you post about?
Oh no, he's a middle-aged white man. What he's talking about his lawn. Watch out. That's
not
me.
Middle-aged yet.
That's not Alex. That's me. That's me. Yes.
Give me another like 10, 15 years, and then we'll talk.
We'll see. I know I should talk about the next topic of being the lawn, but I have to say, Alex, you've been on your cut for a few days. It's already showing.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
So let's start there.
Oh, sure.
Because I'm still doing like the normal maintenance of everything, but like you're doing a cut. So how's that going for you? What's your plan?
Yeah. So the plan is, I weighed in. I started. So the whole month of July for me.
Okay.
Was maintenance phase. Not July. Sorry,
June. Yeah.
June. So I did a 2-month bulk, April and May, and felt really good. Felt really strong.
You got huge. You got huger.
Yeah. Thank you.
I
was really focusing on shoulders. Yeah, and so that adds to the visuals of me getting stronger, right? And then I kind of eased from the bulk back to maintenance. I think beginning of June, I was still bulking, and then I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of getting tired. I want to focus on other things, and I just didn't worry about tracking anything. Didn't worry about like really pushing myself at the gym.
Right.
There were weeks I made like two times to the gym, maybe even once. And after that, I wanted to do a cut. So July was a good time to start. So yeah, this is only day 4 of my cut. And this is the first time in years I'm actually getting back to tracking.
Oh, like actually tracking.
Actually tracking, yeah. And that's where my roots were with nutrition, right? I think if you can, everybody should track because you'll learn so much about food.
Oh, 100%. Early on, I did it to learn the consistency of it. I used my Fitness Pal back then. What are you using now? Is it the same?
My Fitness Pal is still great. Okay. It has a good free option. It has a decent paid option. I would recommend using Chronometer if you're going to use a free version of anything. So you will have to bear the ads. If you're going to pay for any app, there's a few good ones. I really like Macro Factor.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like a little over $7 a year. So for the whole year, so it's like less than $5 a month.
Yeah, that's really cheap.
Yeah, it's really reasonable. I think it does cost a decent chunk if you do it monthly. I think it's more like $10-$12. So I just bought the whole year, and if you're gonna stick to it, it can be a good value.
Right.
And the reason I really like that app, there's no free version. So like they don't spend any money of that or any effort on free stuff.
Right.
What they really get to is with the value. So what it does, it adjusts your calories based on your what's happening to your weight.
Oh,
And if you have like body fat percentage, it can even do that based on your goals, right? So for example, right now, any calculator you use is going to guesstimate your calories.
right. And they're always going to be not great. Let's be
Right.
honest.
They're going to be off one direction or the other because they doesn't necessarily know how much muscle mass to fat ratio you have. There's a lot
Right.
of things that
It,
come
it's
to play with
it's
metabolism.
assuming the least common denominator, which is usually folks with more fat than muscle.
Right.
Let's be real about
Right.
that. Yeah.
Right. So I weighed in day one at 196.5 pounds,
Okay.
which was maintenance weight. So probably peak bulk, I was probably over 200, and then back to maintenance, dropped a couple pounds. So 196 and a half. I'm down to 194 now.
Wow.
So
Okay.
a couple days, yeah. No, definitely some of that is glycogen weight, but I'm also thinking it definitely way underestimated my maintenance, the app,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because it started my cut at 2,200 calories.
But does it feel okay? Or is it a little bit
I'm
too much?
hungry. I'm hungry, but it's not unbearable.
Gotcha.
Pushing much further than that will be hard. So like, because my goal is I want to get down to 180, which is reasonable, but it's pushing it in 3 months. In 3 months, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's plenty of time. I'm not trying to go
Yeah.
do anything crazy, and I think it does give you kind of a path ahead. And like, hey, eventually, if you want to get to this weight, you probably want to drop down to like 1,600 calories. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, that's going to be pretty
That's gonna be
hard.
pretty rough. Yeah.
So, but I'm also thinking I'm not going to have to drop as low because I think it's estimated my calorie maintenance being lower than it actually is. So I'm going to guess it's going to calibrate, and I'll keep you guys updated. In the future, I think next week is actually going to give me a little bit more calories.
Oh, so it kind of it tries to its best to prevent you from plateauing.
Yeah, from
Okay.
plateauing
Like
and also
it gives the
going too
refeeds, I
far.
guess we should say. Refeeds, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So because I know week one, I'm already lost. I need to lose an average, I think 1.1 or 1.2 pounds a week,
Yeah.
right? And week one already, I'm down 2.4 pounds, right? Which is more, maybe more than twice, and I still have a few more days to go. So it's
Right.
going to recalibrate and be like, okay, you are in too much of a deficit to start with. We did your maintenance wrong, so it's going to give me a bit more calories and jump up,
Right.
which is good. So next week, I hope I'll be a bit more calories, and then I won't have to go quite as low. I think I can do 1,800 for like a week or two,
Well,
but yeah, lower than that is going to be really hard for me.
yeah, I wondered too if it's gonna go like, oh, like you've lost a lot of weight. Like it's hot out, you're doing a lot of outside work. Like how much of that
Right,
is water weight burning quicker than expected because of just
right,
it's never gonna tell us what the temperature is in that app. It's like it doesn't
right.
calculate that.
Yeah. So yeah, and you have to look at the visuals. I'll keep paying attention to strength at the gym, and right now I'm doing 6 days a week, but it's like 6 days of like I've been in and out of the gym in less than an hour, which like
Hmm.
doesn't happen with my training, so it's much lower volume. But going forward, if I'm going to start losing strength or just like the energy goes down, I'm going to scale down the training to 5, 4, even 3 days if I need to.
Yeah, no, I've been 3 days, all my workouts 45 minutes at most, and it's been
Nice.
great.
Which is
Yeah, it's maintenance. Like I'm
for
feeling,
maintenance, that's all you need.
but
Right.
I'm still feeling like a big guy, like
Right.
a big strong guy to the point of
Mhm.
where I
You
was.
are.
I don't feel like I've lost, which has been fun. So,
Sure.
but yeah, no, you'll probably be fine. And honestly, it's more of like, yeah, just don't burn yourself out at the gym.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like if you have one day where you're really struggling, that's gonna happen. You know that. But if you have two
Right.
days, that's where you're like something's wrong.
Right. I need to scale down. I'm doing too much.
You're
What
doing
is
too
am I
much. You need to eat a little bit
sleeping?
more that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like people get the cutting wrong very often is like they will ramp up their training often or keep it as the
Yeah,
same
no.
as during maintenance. Like all your, especially as intermediate and above lifter, all you're trying to do during cutting phase is to maintain the muscle that you have.
Yeah.
To maintain the muscle that you have, you need to do way less volume than to build. Right. So like
Yeah.
I'm starting at 6 days a week because I like going to the gym,
Yeah. Right.
but realistically, like I'm planning to eventually make it probably down to 3 because I don't need to be doing as much.
I would say minimum to maintain is 2 to 3, depending on
Oh yeah,
what your structure is for the gym.
for sure. For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could easily maintain on 2 days a week.
As far as looks, I mean, I think I've talked to you about this too. Like my biggest struggle is since I've not pushed myself with like barbells, since I'm doing a lot more machine work with the wife because that's what we're enjoying right now. If I go to touch a barbell right now and try and deadlift
Sure.
405, could I do it? Yes. It's gonna feel
Sure.
like 300-400 pounds more because I'm not my
Right.
CNS is not used to it. So also keep that in mind too. That you might not be losing strength, but your CNS might not be ready and primed to activate to the level you want. So keep that in mind with your training
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. No, when I cut a lot more machine work
Yeah,
because you don't have to think. You don't have to like, oh, I have to lock in and balance the weight. Like, no, just
you
like,
just
hey,
just do,
push.
just push. Yeah,
That's it.
just push or pull, whatever it is.
It's much easier.
Awesome. I can't wait. In 4 months' time, 6-pack pictures from Hammer soon. I anticipate this.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, 3 months, and then I'll go back to bulking because we'll be in our winter time. Winter
And we'll
bulk.
be going to Square Base GT, baby. Let's
That's
go.
right. That's right. Square base GT.
Yeah, we're gonna be hitting that up. So if you're going to Square Base GT up in Toronto in November, Alex and I will be there.
Yes.
But first, we have months and months ahead of our lawn. So Alex, how's your lawn? I see a beautiful picture here.
Yeah, lawn is cut. Lawn is cut and clean. I just cut it yesterday.
I'm so jealous of your
Before
shed. I
our
need a shed so
hobby
bad.
night. Yeah. Well, it came with a house, so it's nice. But yeah, so I cut the lawn. I actually cut another lawn today. I was helping out a friend, as you can see. This is the nerd Alex who
Oh,
goes to the gym. And oh yeah, you need to.
yeah. No, you're back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Go ahead.
All right, so this is the nerd and gym rat Alex who doesn't go outside, and this is the Alex that just worked all day helping a friend.
Alex, who needs
So
some
big
aloe.
difference. Right. Yeah. It's actually not hurting too bad, but probably tomorrow. But yeah, I cut another lawn, and today I don't have any pictures, but I was helping a friend with a bunch of projects who he just didn't have a chance to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, extra vitamin D for me today, but that's not usual.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Myself, I'm going to bring up some long talk. I'll save the garden talk for Neil as usual.
Sure.
But boom, my lawn didn't really need to be cut.
Mm.
It was like
Wow.
I probably could have stretched it to next week.
Really? Okay.
Right. But last night you said you cut yours. The weather was nice. The sun was shining. It wasn't too hot. Knocked it out. Cut it up. Did the garden weeding. But I'll talk about that later. But yeah, 2 lawns cut this week, boys and
Wow.
girls out
It's
there.
almost 4th of July too, so it's nice to have a nice clean lawn for it as well.
That was another motivator, very much so. I was like, if I work was slow. Let's be honest. I work from home. Work was slow.
Sure.
I have done the laundry. I swept the whole house. I
Wow.
mowed the lawn. I did the garden. I went out for groceries. I don't need to leave for
Jeez.
3 days if I choose to. I don't need to leave for
That's
6 days
productive.
actually. I'm thrilled right now. But I
It's gonna be a nice long weekend for you.
well, we'll see. I might have a Warhammer game. At time of this, we're recording on Thursday, everybody. So I might have a Warhammer game Friday. if
Yeah, I might come down in the evening. Depends how late you guys stay too.
I need to see what the wife's wanting, because if she wants me home all day, I'll be home all day.
Sure. That's smart. Good move.
Yeah. But also, hey, Saturday, I'm free if you want to come over for my house for a game, worst
Ooh.
case.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I need to look at my schedule, but
Yeah,
we'll do it after the show.
Yeah, after the show.
Well, let's do it right now. Let's pause it and look at my calendar.
No. We're not gonna
Get
pause
to
it.
the
I'm
game.
gonna bring out my calendar right now so everybody can see where I'm going on vacation, all the hotel info.
Yeah, good idea.
All right. Anyway, lawns are good, everybody.
Lawns are cut.
But what about
It does look so nice, and for a first time in a very long time, I cut my lawn before my neighbor cut his lawn, which he usually cuts his lawn twice a week.
So doesn't it feel good?
So it feels. I was like, what's going on? He usually cuts like the one patch, like he just covers it for me of my lawn. It's just a section which just makes sense for him to cut. So I'm like, I'm cutting this section today. What is going on?
Yeah, it's so good. Now it's his turn to respond. You're making him. He's
it's gonna
sitting
be
right
for
now
sure.
having dinner with his wife or partner, whatever it is. I don't know,
Mhm.
and going, cut the grass tomorrow, and it's July 4th. I don't. Or do I wait till the 5th? We'll be okay.
He'll already cut it.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, tell me about your hobby. How's your hobby been right now?
Yeah, not a lot. Ashamingly, I would say I've definitely had a chance to do it. Let me tell you the hobby I've done, and then the reason I haven't done much beyond that.
Gotcha.
So I did play a game of Kill Team against our mutual friend Brendan. He's a great guy.
Yep.
And he won. He played as the Night Lords, and I played as Commandos. Really great game. There was one highlight where his flamer like almost like down to 1 wound each. Killed 3 orcs.
Mhm.
It was great. It was awesome. So very good game. I'm enjoying Kill Team more and more.
Yeah.
So far, we've played without secondaries, without objectives, I should say. We're just like trying to kill each other.
Right.
But I think next game we'll actually try to play with objectives.
Nice.
That's most of it. I did. How do you say it? Fix the resin, the bent resin. So
Oh
you
yeah,
dip it
on your
in
Spear to your
hot
Wolves.
water
Yeah.
on the spears for the wolves. I did that. I think that's it. That's all I did.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good though. I mean, it's something better than nothing.
it's better than nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. The game looked good. You guys were having a good time while I was playing my game. I'm gonna talk about here
Yes.
briefly.
Yes.
No, yeah, Kill Team is fun.
Hmm.
I
So quick too.
yeah, it's quick. I have which army do you have again? I'm sorry.
Commandos, the
Commandos.
orcs.
That's right. I have the Sisters of Battle.
Nice.
So yeah, but like that's what I like about this club. I wish we could get our club into Warcry.
Yeah, Warcry is really cool.
Warcry is cool. It's a fun skirmish game, but yeah, we'll get there when we get
I
there.
really, I really like the rules for it too, because like you roll the 5 dice, I think, 5 or 6 dice every
5 or
turn.
6 to figure out your priority, but if you're bad on priority, you usually have more benefits, so it works out fun.
Right, right. No, it's the couple times I played it, I really enjoyed it. Oh, the one reason I have not been hobbying as much, to my shame, is I've been playing that Heroes of Might and Magic game.
Oh, sure, yeah.
To go back to cutting, the one hack I've been doing is I gave myself a rule that if I am to play a video game or watch a movie, I got to do it while doing cardio. So I have a stationary, treadmill.
Standing desk type treadmill, yeah.
You have a standing desk treadmill. So, and I just do super light walking, right? It's
Yeah.
nothing crazy. I'm not running, and I can like play, go on my computer and do it. So I've been doing that. So I've 2 days already this week. I've played for like 4 or 5 hours total,
Yeah.
and just burn some calories doing cardio.
I'll give you some movie recommendations too. This is actually out for everybody because like the retro game person in me, the wife and I found this movie Tetris.
Oh yeah. I've heard about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy who stars in what was it, The Kingsman? He's the main
Hmm.
character,
Hmm.
main actor. But it's a 2 hour movie. The best I can describe it is business adventure.
Okay.
But it's the story of Tetris leaving the USSR
Hmm.
during like all that sort of Cold War type stuff to be out there for everybody.
Oh.
It is a phenomenal movie, and I will say this: not every Russian is a bad guy. Like the one Russian that's a bad guy, they play it up, but there's also a capitalist bad guy that they play up. So it's like
Okay.
it shows the bad of both and shows the good
Sure,
of both.
sure,
And
good,
it
good.
is a phenomenal movie. I've watched it probably about a dozen times. I will watch it
Wow.
again. It is a really good movie.
Hmm.
If you want to
Where,
kill
where do
two,
you where do
it
you watch it on this platform?
if you want to watch it legitimately, not through different means of bays and pirates, it's Apple.
Ah.
But if you need a copy, Alex, you just
Okay.
let your friend Chuck know.
Sure,
Arr.
sure. I might do that.
It's worth it every time.
Okay.
That said, the usual screw corporations and steal stuff aside, let's talk about some more Warhammer. So my games.
Yay.
I'll save my
Yes,
hobby for
please.
Neil, but we're talking about my games with
Sure.
Alex. So I played a game of Warhammer: The Old World. Alex, can you believe it?
So surprised. You have not played that game in forever.
I know, amazing. So I had a club day last weekend. So it was a fantasy Sigmar day. So I brought both armies. I actually had Cities of Sigmar with me and
Oh,
Lizardmen.
nice.
The way it worked out, I was going to play Old World, which was my preference if I was honest. So this is with a new FAQ. I played a gentleman, Brian, who had his Beastman. Sorry, Beastman.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. He ran me over. I was rolling very badly on a lot
Sure.
of stuff, like especially leadership. I don't know why.
Sure.
3d6 leadership, drop like with the Renegade pack, dropped the lowest. It wasn't working for me.
Mm.
But what I will say, if you look in this screen here, there's a unit of 15 Saurus warriors with spears and a unit of 10 Saurus warriors with hand weapon shields. I got charged and I got greedy. I wanted the extra attacks with the spears.
Hmm.
Got ran over, lost that combat
Right.
hard.
Right.
with the hand weapons shields, I wasn't greedy. Same exact unit charged afterwards. I held them up for 3 more turns. Hand
Wow.
weapon shields with the parry is phenomenal. My god, is infantry back in a good way.
Yeah. No, I think so. I mean, most infantry has at least access to light armor and shield,
Yeah.
right? So all of a sudden, going from a 5-up save to a 4-up save, or from a 4-up save to a 3-up save,
Yep.
not bad. Really not bad.
It's not, and it makes me even go, like with this army specifically, someone charges me. All right, what's your AP?
Right.
Because like lizardmen are slow, so I'm like, what's your AP? If your AP's high, I'm going hand weapon shields. I'm gonna
Yep.
sacrifice an attack just to hold up this combat, and then next
First
round
turn,
go for
yeah.
extra attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Which I lost this game, had fun, but like that alone, those 2 moments, was like, oh, I see it now. And like I think I put it into the high elf mindset. Lothern Seaguard.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
baby.
Yeah.
Spearman.
Yeah.
I am looking at Spearman legitimately now.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they come with light armor and shield naturally, I believe, built
Yeah.
in the points.
Yep. Where's Seaguard, you have to buy the shield.
You have to buy the shield, right? So yeah, it's if you're gonna run a big old block, and you said even the bowman as a detachment, right?
Exactly. It's a little detachment for like the stand and shoot and counter charges. And oh, it's
Yeah,
gonna be good.
not bad.
Yeah, so like I'm jazzed for some more old world games here soon.
I'm excited to see infantry on the table. That's what I'm really excited for.
We will see it. I think my first list long ago when I first made this as a narrative supplement is going to be a more effective list than what my cavalry was now,
Mhm.
which I'll talk about later. I actually ordered the cavalry bases after the event from Mini Wargaming Forge.
Okay.
I'm like I'm not using you.
I don't need them.
Shoot, that was $40 not well spent. Oh, anyway,
Jeez.
great quality. Mini Wargaming Forge, great quality.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
But last night at club night, I wanted to play some Sigmar.
Heck yeah.
So it is July. It's almost July 4th. At the time of folks hearing this, it will be past July 4th. Or maybe I'll
Right.
release it on July 4th. I don't know. Maybe a little early access.
Sure.
But I have a 4th of July army, a red, white, and blue army, my Lumineth.
Mm-hmm.
I started painting them on July 4th years ago. So I was like, let me bring them back out. And boy, we had a 1v1v1 game. So myself versus Brad versus Luke. So it's Lumineth, Slanesh, Stormcast. I didn't know Lumineth were so fun. I always assumed they were way too. They are. You have to think about them a lot more.
Brainy army, yeah.
Right, but not as much in this new edition.
Okay.
And Teclis just being in the middle, going, all right, I auto dispel all of you on an 8. So roll your dice for your casting. Did you get at least an 8? Okay, no, then your spell's done.
Right.
And then, hey, by the way, I'm going to counter spell. I'm going to auto cast this on 10. Oh, you failed to spell this. And I just do mortal wounds to everybody within 18 inches.
Wow.
I'm a Daughter's Kane fan in Sigmar,
Sure.
for sure. But let me tell you, Teclis is still Teclis. He does some shenanigans.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and until we can play him in Old World, that's the only place you can play him.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I had a great time with this game. Just playing Lumineth. I missed some things. I missed some army rules, but
Sure.
we all kind of did. Tactics, I got none because I
You just ignored it.
well, in a 1v1v1, it was hard. I didn't try to ignore it, but it just wasn't working out in the favor.
Sure.
In a 1v1 game, I was like, okay, probably could have gotten maybe 3 to 4 of them total, I feel.
And there's 5 total now?
6 total.
Or 4? Oh, that's right. There's 6
6,
total. You have 2
yeah.
cards. Right.
I felt confident I could get to 2 with what I chose. Regardless, had a great game. Lots of back and forth. Me and Brad and his Slanesh and this pitcher kind of hit each other pretty too hard, so Luke won it in the end. He just had enough left over.
Nice.
But
Nice.
So I was like, I'm loving Lumineth. This is a fun game. So
yeah, I enjoyed the game for a little bit, just sitting down and just seeing you attack with one unit and then immediately attack with another unit.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Sigmar, the new GHB, I enjoy it. I still wish I could choose one battle tactic instead of 2, which I could do in this game. Even Brad offered it. So if you just want to do 1 instead of 2, I'm like, no, let me do 2. Let me figure that out. But The changes are the changes like Old World that were good. Changes for this GHB for Sigmar also good.
Okay, that's
I
positive.
don't mind playing some more Sigmar.
Good. Well, maybe I will.
I say Old World still has the edge for me, but
Sure.
we're here. I think
Okay.
we're almost back, baby.
Okay, almost back. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was pretty excited when the edition came out. I was hoping when I saw the cards, I was hoping it's just one card, tactics per game. So the max you can score is 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, no, that's awesome. The fact that it's 2 cards, it's fine. It's fine. I like the rules how you score better, right? You don't
Yes.
have
Yes.
to
Yes. Yes.
go. You can only choose 2, right? You're going for the 2 objectives at the same time, not like 15, or however many cards you have plus your army. That's just so much to think through. So yeah, I'm excited to try it, and I also like that they don't think they longer have any like seasonal war rules like we used to have with them,
Yeah. Oh yeah, like
like the
the
special units and stuff, and
yeah. Not that I'm aware of, but yeah,
yeah,
it's I want to play a little bit more Sigmar. It's fun. I wish it was one battle tactic sheet and you had
right,
4 instead of 2 with 3.
yeah.
I think it still would have worked just fine. But like, also, I'm not that's me complaining, just to
And
claim.
it's also probably coming out from like old world update being literally everything we wanted,
Right, exactly.
right?
And like I said, and also, hang on, everybody. There will be sorry, my internet connection's unstable for some reason. um,
You're coming good for
me and
me,
Neil
Steve,
are going to be talking about the match play guide this week, so
right?
hang tight. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, Old World gave us everything we wanted, and Sigmar gave us everything enough.
right. Some of the things we wanted and moving in a positive direction.
Yes, exactly. Um, Before we get to our sort of main topic, which is not fitness, everybody, it's Warhammer
Ooh,
related. I have
yeah. Look at
one
those
more.
guns. We have a chance.
Yes, I have one more thing I need to talk about because Alex, do you remember last week you made a prediction about
No.
me and Grand Cathay?
Oh yes, I did. I did. Yes,
Well,
100%.
so Grand Cathay, I emailed GW. I'm like, hey, when's this shipping? The holiday's gonna get in the way. They said, hey, it's gonna ship out Saturday. You'll have it by mid next week. I'm like, cool. Just wanted to verify everything's good. No worries. It is what it is. But what was your prediction?
My prediction was that you're going to go to our local game store and buy a unit of something for Grand Cathay before your before your army arrives, because you couldn't sit without having a pile of shame and not paying anything.
So you're right.
I know you so well.
um, so I will say this as I lean away drastically. It is a new quarter, so the
Hmm.
backlog has increased by 1 model because every quarter I'm doing a new bust. So I'm currently working on the Evrain bust. She's
Okay.
coming along greatly. I actually I'm
Is there a cat? Is there a cat with a bust?
she's a cat on her shoulder.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice, good.
I am thrilled. She is coming together very nicely, and she is the focus.
Good.
But I'm gonna probably have her done by tomorrow. Like I know me.
Like,
Tomorrow, maybe Saturday at the most. So I went up to FLGS, said, "Hey, what do you got left?" As I put the model away, and I was like, "Okay, there's 2 options I had for additions to the army I built, which I bought one of everything: double Sentinel
Oh, that's right.
or double Longma."
Hmm.
And I thought about it. Double Longma, which is this girl right here. Um, there's yin and yang magic. Yin and yang. Yin
That's
and yang.
right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna paint one to be yin magic and one to be yang magic.
Mm.
So one darker, one lighter. I need to build something. This would be a great way to test the scheme.
Mhm.
Next week, everybody. By the way, Hell or High Water, I will be doing a Grand Cathay Arcane Journal review with whether it's I'm alone or with Neil or with somebody else. Um, so expect
Yeah,
that. But yeah, I'm so excited. And next week I will have all my Grand Cathay in. So I'll have 2 Longmas and one of everything else, and I'll be going to town. And I've been list building like crazy.
sure.
I think this
Sure.
Saturday is officially they'll unlock everything as far as rules. Like the points
Okay,
are in,
good. Right.
but then the rules will be in. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll just Saturday's gonna be a
I'm excited to
big
play
day for
against
me.
it. I'm excited to. I mean, I've heard people say it's a really strong army, a really good army, even with what we have so far.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it on the tabletop.
Yeah, our friend Abe's been messaging me. He has early access. He does Bell of Lost Souls. I know you guys out there probably know Abe Apfel if you're on the Facebook groups. Yeah, double longbow seems like a fun choice. And I'm going to build the whole army right away and prime it and then paint it. So you'll see some games. Maybe me and Alex will get a game in on a non-club night to get it going. I might. So not this weekend, obviously. The weekend after will be a monthly club night with the other club, Ligonier Club. I will bring Grand Cathay to that because I will have it built by then. I know it.
Nice. Oh, you will for sure.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you have it built?
Exactly.
Not even an option. Yeah. One thing I will say is, since we're in topic of hobby, is your Lumineth. I never really looked at them. I don't know if I've just never really seen the whole army painted.
I don't bring them out too often.
Yeah, they are a very well painted army.
Thank you. They were
one of my favorites of yours.
To be fair, they're in my top 3. My top 3 being somewhere Slanesh, Lumineth, and Sylvaneth as far as best painted.
I mean, every model that I looked at, the eyes were painted, and they were painted well. I thought they weren't like blotchy, like looking in different directions.
I am lazy. I do just the white eyes if it matches.
That's fine. It works for the army aesthetic. They look like with the colors you have, they almost look like the blood elves from World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Yeah. So they look really good. The armor on them looks really good. So yeah, I think it's just very nice army.
Thank you.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, a lot of AK paints in there. So thank you. I wish I had a picture of the show that was in closer detail, but yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that because it worked really well with what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, without leaving Sigmar, Alex, you ready for the main topic?
Yeah.
This more so than you being younger than me. This makes me feel old.
Sure.
So, let's check out. So Sigmar, Age of Sigmar is coming July 11th, 2015. Pre-order July 4th. Sigmar is 10 years old.
That's so weird to me, man. It doesn't feel like it's been 10 years.
I think a lot of people feel the same. I showed this to my friend Tom, our friend Tom at the club, and he's like, fuck you. I'm like, no. He's like, oh my God. Because he played it with me a little bit early on. Before he realized it wasn't the game for him, which is fine.
Right. I played against him at AOS once.
Yeah.
Against his Chaos Dwarfs, I remember.
Yep. Sigmar is 10 years old. So first of all, congratulations. The game, everybody said, is dead on arrival. Has been wildly successful.
It's thriving, yeah.
This current edition, which is not our favorites, at least as far as this podcast goes, I'm not going to deny that they're still wildly successful, and now I want to play it more with this GHB.
With this new edition,
yeah. So, Alex, what's so I work to get some stuff here. What's a fond memory you have from early Age of Sigmar?
From early Age of Sigmar, man, I don't know. So the crazy thing to me, it just clicked in my mind that I was 18 when AOS came out, which means I've only played Warhammer Fantasy before I was 18, which feels so, because my birthday's in June, so like maybe I played a little bit when I was 18, but which is so weird because I feel like I grew up with like playing fantasy, but none of my college years I played fantasy, which is so weird. But no, it's a fun game. I remember the first getting the rule book was really fun. Looking at all the rules, looking at 4 pages of rules. I think it was 4 pages.
I know. I should have got. I had them over there. I should have brought them out, but I did not.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was the first time I played was at Club Day in Ligonier. I'm pretty sure you were there. Pretty sure I actually took a picture of you.
Probably.
I can imagine. I remember your spiky hair. It was like
I had the faux hawk. Yeah,
the faux hawk. You were just as handsome, probably less handsome because you're more handsome.
More beard. No,
Right.
Actually, that's the thing too. more muscles. I didn't start my fitness journey until after
Yeah.
Sigmar began. I
Yeah.
was 185 when Sigmar began. Now I'm
Mhm.
210.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that time we were already friends,
Yeah.
but I think we started hanging out like one-on-one playing Warhammer more like when I was in college.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was I remember that. It was some fun memories. Yeah. I think my first game, who was my first game against of AOS?
Mine was against Tom.
Tom. I don't, honestly, I do not remember who I played first. I think I was playing Skaven.
You were. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were very Skaven heavy at the end of eighth,
Yes.
more than High Elves. So I
Yes.
think it was probably
Yes.
Skaven coming in.
Yeah, I think it was Skaven. I don't remember who I played, but I remember that I did play you at some point early on, and you brought High Elves, I think,
Yes.
and I was still thinking 8th edition mentality, so I was just trying to kill as many points as I could.
Didn't matter.
So I
Yeah.
killed a bunch of your stuff, and I remember you won that game because you achieved whatever other objectives there were.
It was a big
So
switch.
yeah, it was like, I'm just gonna kill you, and you're like, yeah, go for it. I'm gonna win the game. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Well, I was doing High Elves with the added Stormcast, honestly.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right.
Which actually,
Yeah.
before we dive any deeper, I want to bring this up before I forget. I would be so curious. What would the meta look like? And I would throw this out to like folks like Vince Venturella and the people that are like deep thinkers of this of Sigmar. What would Sigmar look like now if one of the scoring metrics wasn't just objectives, if it was kill points? It would change everything I think that's going on right now in Sigmar.
Very different. Very different. I mean, I wish
I
part of
kind
it
of
was
wish it
still
did
fun.
because
Yeah.
like in Sigmar, I don't. People talk about trading back and forth. I'm like, I don't think I should care about that. Old World, I want to trade. I want to trade up. I want to kill
Oh yeah.
more than you kill for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sigmar, I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, who cares? Just, if you just don't just score. I mean, I've had played games where I killed most of my opponent's army, and I had like 50% plus of mine left, and I just got crushed on points, like completely. So it's a different game. I wish points were still involved, but so it was
I mean, they
early
could be
on. It was a
eventually. We
big
could make a
switch.
little compact for that. Might make it.
Maybe.
That might make it more interesting, honestly,
No,
for
I
our
definitely.
local games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know early on, if you follow me for a while, you know me. I was on Twitter. That's why I was kind of like cutting my teeth and like becoming known because of Sigmar. I was a fan of Sigmar. But the first real event, our FLGS Norm got in a pack for it, got in some extra stuff. I still have
Mhm.
all the extra trinkets and tokens. I kept one for each of me. But boom, the trials of the Ogier. So you see here, this is very very Kislev. This art here. I know Alex, you can't see it.
That's
It's
right.
the original
That's right.
campaign pack, which
That's right.
has a black-haired version of what's her name, the Kislev queen,
Serena Katarina.
Katrina, on a
Mhm.
horse. So, and this was the first pack put out by GW for an event, anywhere for Sigmar.
Mhm.
So it was the trial. So it was a little thing. Like we did it at the club. You came, Matt came, I was there. You had to kit bash your own character. It's very narrative focused. I still have it. She's in my daughter's Kane army. She was originally with my Stormcast army. Um, we had a mercenary army. Um, there was special stuff. So there was 3 games. The Battle of Rathadriar. I can't pronounce it, but like these pictures were just like I'm scrolling through the pack right now. It's phenomenal. This is where we began. Game 2,
Yeah.
Into the Yeti's Lair.
So simple.
In game 3, The Storm Cometh. Um, and then there was a special war scroll for the Ogihir Ice Mage that could be anybody. It said human, but like they're like, you can make an elf, you can make a dwarf, whatever you want. Make
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
have fun. But oh my goodness. I was so hooked at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, my juices were flowing too, all about AOS at the time.
So
I have 2 very fond memories from that event specifically. One being I did win, so I did paint Serena Katarina because Norm had one.
yep,
So I painted her up. Like I think I did a good job at the time,
you did. Yeah.
and I did like a conversion almost, like did icicle bits. I remember painting it the night before, obviously,
Yep.
and pretty sure I did win best painted.
You did. You did.
And
Yeah.
nice. But the more important memory was that event is when I became friends with Matt.
Yeah. Because that's the first one he came out to for the Guineer.
Yeah, and Matt is a really close friend now. Like I love Matt. Anytime we hang
Oh, yeah.
out, we just usually for Warhammer things, but we like half the time we talk is not about Warhammer, it's about life. So yeah, no, it was a very awesome place to meet a friend.
Yeah, and I have a picture here of one of my my first Stormcast Eternal I ever kit bashed, and my Ice Mage from this event that I kit bashed.
Right.
Um, obviously now she's half based to fit Stormcast, half based to fit my Daughters of Cain, but I've kind of retconned her because I never named this character. I've kind of retconned her into being like maybe the original Terathi in this edition.
Okay.
Loosely. We'll see.
Okay.
I might play into it a
Cool.
little bit more, but like a little Terathi lore for you there. But yeah, that was a fun 3 day. Like we had bracelets, we had
Yeah,
pins, all
right.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I remember the bracelet. Yeah, wow. You just made a memory come back.
Good.
That's a fun
Glad.
time.
And then after that, so a year later,
Yeah.
we're not going year to year by everybody, but this is just like the high points. But, so this was at the club, not a club, but like a weekly like FLGS that held events. So we finally, after things started picking up again, we got the Season of War, the first season
Right.
of war.
Right.
So Hope Springs anew. So essentially, we're trying to establish cities of order in Gairan. So there's order, there's destruction, there's chaos,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we're all fighting over these cities
Mhm.
in Gairan. In the U.S., the Living City was what we fought over, which is why I have a Living City now for my cities of Sigmar, because like I kind of attached it to that story. But it was multiple weeks. And you can see here I'm scrolling through my like Google Drive from 2016, but each week they release a bonus like, hey, July 27th, Corn's favor. Here's a bonus that's Corn related for everybody. And then they're like, oh, here's a death one. Like who's in charge? And ultimately it was pretty close. But scrolling down here. Order 1. Probably,
honestly, I could not remember who won. So I'm glad you said
Order
who
1,
won.
probably because there's more Order armies than anybody else. So if
Sure.
Order fought Order 1. And this was in
Right.
stores. This was everything. I
Right.
actually, on my Instagram recently, I posted up a picture of the stuff I airbrushed in a concept style army for
Mhm.
it. So, but like, here's all the missions. Like, if anybody wants this, by the way, let me know. I have it all saved. I can absolutely share it. Here's
It'd be
the
fun to
original
play
pack.
original missions.
Oh,
Very simple,
it'd be so crazy.
so easy. Yeah.
Hey, look here, the Greywater Fastness, Phoenicium, Living City. Phoenicium, rest in peace. You're gone forever. But Order 1, so we in every country. So I think it was Phoenicium was Australia, Greywater Fastness was Europe, England, and Living City was Americas.
Mhm.
Order 1 in all three, so that's why we have those cities now as far as the lore goes.
That's cool.
Yeah, like just early on, and like I would walk into the club, we'd have a build. Like I bought a cork board, and I would post up the bonuses and like who's winning, and it was everybody was into it. It was such a great time. But yeah, and really from there, it just grew. With after that, we got the General's Handbook. Yeah, we all started
Right.
making friends. We all started playing games, going to events. Man, Sigmar really just it really did good. Like we were all very cautious and curious early on, but boy, did it surprise a lot of folks.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that's how Rent 4 Club, that was a
Mm-hmm.
big part of our AOS journey.
Yep.
Obviously Neil, part of this podcast.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so
I
he's
met him at Adepticon the second year when Sigmar was going on. That's where we became friends because we kind of sort of knew each other, and then we played a game next to each other, and then me and Neil are almost
rest
inseparable
is
at this
history.
point. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. High Elf Bros.
Yep.
No, yeah, and then the Rent 4 events is when I first brought out my halflings, my Cities of Sigmar halfling army, and it was winning best army awards left and right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
That's,
you're that's when the painting meta for Alex kicked in hard.
yeah, not anymore. I haven't painted a good quality army in years,
You still
but
paint higher than most people, at least in this local area.
sure. But yeah, I haven't. Maybe not years. Maybe like 2 years. I haven't painted like trying to impress anybody. But yeah, I remember that. It was a really fun time, and ever since they killed a bunch of the, unfortunately, with the Cities of Sigmar book, they killed a lot of the units. I was kind of saddened by that, and I really haven't revisited halflings since then.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with them in the future.
That's fine. And one other shout out. This was 2017. So remember Adepticon? I was talking to my friend Tyler. He was doing Scrubby and Wells podcast. He's occasionally on Warhammer Weekly now. He did a great podcast back then, but I reached out to him and sort of made this whole thing happen where I said, "Hey GW, we have a community that is here for you. We want to make this great. How can we support?" And between me and Tyler, we got with GW and we had this event happen at Adepticon.
That's right.
Little mini meeting. I'm gonna show it here. A nice picture from it. Um, this was the original meeting. So every meeting you have or everything you have with GW now, just full clarity, it's because this happened. We met with Jervis, not Jervis. Jervis wasn't there. Pete Foley, Ben Johnson, Robin Crudis, and other folks from GW, as well as UK and US folks for Sigmar fans. This was the community back then. Like honestly, like we had and they listened. And after this is when we got the GHB. After this is when things started really kicking off. And like it's gone beyond this now. Like, but like just I want to put this picture out here because these are every single person in this whole picture is a friend of mine personally, for many reasons. And if you want to know where Sigmar really came from, don't look at the Budweiser box at the bottom. I just realized there's beer and pizza in this picture.
That's awesome.
But it was a lot because of this. Like, GW was willing to accept the input, and from here, the playtest team formed, and so much other great stuff. So, if you wonder why Chuck is important in Sigmar, there you go. Not anymore, but
well, you were a playtester for a long time too, right?
I was for a few editions. There's people before me and all that sort of stuff, but like just in general, like Sigmar, the best memory of Sigmar that I try to never let go of is the fact that it started as a small group and it grew. Now it's actually grown bigger. It's bigger than that small group 100%. A lot of that small group is also not even like really playing regularly because it's evolved beyond, which is fine. But knowing that in 10 like seeing what that was, and that was 2 years after the game came out, obviously. So seeing what like 8 years later, the effort that a lot of folks early on, like myself, put in, seeing what it has become now is amazing. And like even though it's not my favorite edition, there's still like a special place in this game for my heart for always, like more so than any other game.
Yeah, I mean, you had a pretty important hand in the forming years of AOS, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, and it's like I will be forgotten in history, and that's fine.
Sure.
But you know, like folks like you will remember, and you'll pass that story on, and that's what matters. But yeah, Sigmar almost failed. I'm not saying it's myself and a few others that are what saved it. It's not that. It's the community as a whole that saved it.
Sure.
Because we believed in it, and it has turned out to be a great game. Even if I don't like this edition, I like this edition a little bit more if it's GHB. But even if I don't like this edition in general, it is a better game than it was.
Yeah, 100%.
So
and the setting is cool. Like the setting at this point is really cool, and like we have some good books, right, coming out in the setting. Like I was just listening to an older book, the Hamilcar.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one.
Right. I was just like, hey, that's fun, right? Like it's a good book. It's enjoyable and it's in the setting. So even the setting itself, despite if you play the game or maybe you skip out based on the edition, it's still a really, really cool setting.
I'll keep up with the lore always. Yeah, no, it's good. And the thing is too, like we have a lot of folks that hear Old World related because we're a very Old World focused podcast.
Right.
Keep in mind too that everything that's happening in Old World and fantasy is the background for Sigmar.
Yeah.
And Occasionally, there might be things where you go, they kind of forgot what their roots were, but most of the time they don't. And if I
Yeah.
look at Teclis on the table, doing what he did in my Sigmar game, you better believe I'm remembering what he can do in 8th edition fantasy, old world, all that sort of stuff. He is a powerhouse of magic. So like it's not forgotten, even they're trying to separate because they have their little internal disputes, but they cannot fully separate as far as lore goes. So embrace it all is what I guess what we're saying here. It's been 10 years. It's here to stay. Old world's here to stay. Sigmar's here to stay. It's all great and it's all worthwhile encompassing it together. Even if you're just lore focused, remember and see the future because the future is kind of cool too.
Yeah, and I really like that now we are getting the best of both worlds, right? So we have the AOS, which is growing, the lore is growing, the setting is growing, there's more armies, so that's really cool. But at the same time, we have like, oh well, old world is no more, but we can still explore the setting, right? Because
There's
like
so
we
much
played,
space.
right? It's like now we are, in the pre 8th edition setting, right?
Yeah.
So we're what 200 years prior to that, I
I think
think.
about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, we don't really have much lore on that. Maybe a little bit, but now we're exploring that. Maybe, maybe we'll get a setting where, we look at the time of Sigmar when he first appeared.
Oh
So I
my
don't know.
goodness, those books were good. The Legends books, those are great. So
Yeah. I mean, kind of like what Middle Earth is doing, where
yeah,
you have different settings and people love that game,
yeah.
right? Like, why not? Why not explore that? Like a one edition is going to be, this setting. So I don't know. I think they have a lot of opportunities to give people what they want, and people want AOS, people want Old World, people want 40K, 30K, right? So just
But
give people what they want, and they'll buy your product.
yeah, absolutely. And I would say if you're a Sigmar person, look at your history. You'll
Yeah,
get so much more out of Sigmar that way. And if you're an old world person, look at what the future is and see what becomes of your characters because you'll have such an appreciation of what they're doing now and how it does expand into that in the future. Um, it goes both ways, so really just do it all. Everybody. Sigmar fantasy. Do both. At least on the lore front. You don't have to play both. No, that's fine.
right, right.
But if you play both,
100%.
you are the biggest Chad in the universe, like me and Alex. Uh, and no one can lift more than you. Just saying.
That's right.
Yep.
Not even us.
Not even us. Yeah.
Right. And if you really want to go further, you can play 40K and think about conspiracy theories, how about how they're all related.
Well, then you have to go into end times because there's the little connections there. Anyway, Alex, do you have any more Sigmar major memories you want to throw out there for us?
I think that's it. No, I honestly really enjoyed the early days of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It's still a good game. Secondaries suck, but the game
They're
itself,
better now. They're
I
better
love.
now. They are better now.
They're better now. They're better now. And remember that when you play with your friends, you don't have to use secondaries, or you don't have to use any rules, right? As long as you're both on the even side,
I would
decide
say,
that it's
yeah, at least put down a couple objectives, but you don't have to worry about
yeah,
secondaries. You can have
for
a great
sure.
game. The core concept of
100%.
that game is good.
I 100% agree. Like whatever edition it is, I love AOS. We just don't use the secondaries
Yes.
unless you go to the tournament.
Well, sure. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, I would say just enjoy both, play both. Shout out maybe to 2+ Tough who does a lot of Sigmar content, and shout out to Pancreas No Work who does a lot of old world content.
Mhm.
Get your lore from those guys. But yeah, Alex, 10 years of Sigmar.
Wow.
Toast to whatever you're drinking. I don't know. It's Monster.
White Monster.
White Monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very on brand, by the way.
Well, if I was drinking coffee, I could complain, but I can't complain.
Right.
Yes, but anyway, we will see you all for me and Neil talking about the match play guide here.
Very cool.
Magical moment.
Bye.
And we are back with the king of the Columbus crew himself, Neil. Looking good with all your black and yellow. I mean, as a Pittsburgh fan, I have to support this fully.
Yeah, that's not the Steelers logo there, buddy.
I know. It's
a soccer ball.
It's that neon yellow. It's a
That's
different.
actual football. That's real football.
Wow. the thing that Cleveland cannot play no matter what. As I say over here with Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback for the year. Wee.
Oh my God, what a mess. You going
I'm
on a darkness retreat at any point here? Or,
I'm for
in
this.
solidarity?
I'm for this mess, honestly. Let Aaron Rodgers play. I want to see it. I don't hate the guy, so I have no qualms or anything against him. But it's gonna be like I
Oh my
expect
God,
nothing.
they should start every Pittsburgh Steelers game with the Always Sunny intro.
If it wasn't Philly related, we would. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Oh, but Neil, how you doing after, a little week off? You doing okay?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Had some had a death in the family recently, brother-in-law. So it's been kind of a solemn July 4th for us, but didn't get to hang out with the family and everything. And so it's always good to see people and and celebrate my brother-in-law and the family and all that. So it was a good week overall, even if an unfortunate one.
I hear that. Yeah, the deaths in family are never fun, but it is also odd because the blessing of getting to see some family members you don't see too often. But regardless, we won't hang out on that because, as usual, this podcast must carry on as we talk about the one and only topic that everyone that shows up thinks about. Neil, how's your lawn?
It's uncut. Same as I've been in Columbus during what we just talked about. It's uncut. It looks terrible. It actually doesn't look too terrible. It's all the flower beds that have thistles almost 6 feet tall. So those are, I heard somebody call thistles the cockroaches of the weed family, and boy howdy, that rings true.
Yep. I have one flower bed that is just completely infested, and despite my efforts to pull them out fully by the roots every bit, never do it perfectly. So yeah.
Correct. But yeah, so that's how my lawn is standing right now. Probably needs a mow either tomorrow or maybe Monday. We'll see. So
No worries there. No worries. I snuck in a mow earlier. I was recording this a day after I recorded with Alex. That said, I have to say a little garden funness here. So, as most listeners have been paying attention to, Neil, you're aware of too, it has been raining so much here lately.
so much.
Until
So
very
much.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
Today, July 5th, is the first time I had to go out and water my garden.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's been so saturated, I've not had to water my garden until July 5th, and that feels really weird.
We've had people floating away in currents and everything else down here. People dumb enough to try and swim in rivers right now. It's like, I don't know. You hate to make light of a tragedy, but Jesus, like thinning the herd here a little bit. But stay out of the water, people. Good God.
Well, hey, good news. Hopefully, for those folks that want to ford the river now, infantry is stronger, so you'll be much better prepared for the next flood that happens.
Yeah, you ever played Oregon Trail? Like it's not always the best option, guys. Like
It's the only option, Neil, and
get the ferry, buy the ferry.
So hold on. Side thing. I always ford the river just because it's funny, and honestly, more times than not, all works out for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You must have a hot hand in the dice game, baby.
I do for that, except for last year. Last year, wife and I went to a retro game event in Long Island. And they had the original apples set up. And I was like, let me just play a quick game of here. Within 2 rivers of me fording it, everyone died. My wife's looking at me like, you're the biggest idiot I've ever seen. I'm like, I promise you it's worked.
Yeah. And to be fair, I've made the same choices in actual life. I remember going to Nova one year and taking my Prius through standing water. And it was, I didn't realize just how high it was. I took one look at it. I'm like, well, I don't know where else to go. My GPS says to go this way. So we're going in. And it worked out, that 25% chance.
Hey, there you go. It's all that matters. You just have to survive it that one time it matters.
That's right.
Well, before we dive any deeper, Did you have a good July 4th at all? Did you see any fireworks at all? I know it's been a solemn
We
weekend
did,
for
we
you.
did. The lake house that my mother-in-law has a little condo on a lake house, and it just so happened that it's perfectly positioned for the fireworks to be over top the trees and everything while you're looking out from a patio. So, yeah, we hung out there.
Good.
That being said, without being too much of an old grumple, I just, I've seen fireworks now many, many years, and I can take them or leave them, perfectly honest. So,
That's fair.
I'm having fun.
My local town, thanks to our every region, every city has their attorney that you know the jingle for. Neil, you might know ours. We're close enough. Edgar Schneider and Associates. Might be just out. I can't tell.
Yeah,
but
we're out of things.
he sponsored the townwide fireworks here, and I grew up with Edgar Schneider as a lawyer in commercials as a kid. Let me say, being able to walk for 5 minutes and watch a great 30-minute display of fireworks was exceptional last night.
That's nice.
Also made some great burgers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely so.
All right. Well, with that, lawn done, garden done, fireworks done. Happy birthday, America! Congratulations.
Yep.
Yeah,
take that, you limey bastards.
Yep. Hey, also gotta say, everybody out there is going, "Oh, Warhammer's a British game." Like, well, there's a reason we measure in inches, son.
That's right.
And I don't care if there's a reason that's British. It's American.
Yeah. Set those cake eaters packing.
Yep. We don't do no beans and toast over here. We prefer flavor. We're just gonna call America Flavor Town. President Guy Ritchie.
To all of our British listeners, I'm just kidding. Love you.
Yeah,
all.
we love you. We actually do love you all. The only people that we actually despise is the Canadians. And to be fair, it's only half the Canadians, because as it has been said before, there's only 2 problems with Canadians. Neil, do you know what they are? One, half of them speak French. 2, the other half lets them. What the hell? Come on.
Little known fact about myself that I keep buried very deep is that I am 50% from my family anyway is from French-speaking Canada, where they immigrated to the U.S. to the U.S. of A. So there it is.
There you go. Made a good choice. No, honestly, no. There's no issues anywhere really. I think Neil will agree. I like every country. I don't like every government. That's probably the easiest way to put it. If you're a person, you're welcome. Neil, let's talk some hobby. Let's get away from this almost political talk.
Well, we got close.
We get so close and we back away, but all right, boom, up on screen. So Neil, I finished because I ran out of hobby as I'm waiting for Grand Cathay. But I painted and kit bashed a baggage train for my high elf army on screen
cool.
now.
Cool. So maybe get a little bit thinking about what I want to do for my baggage train. Also for my event, I'm gonna need a baggage train or 2 or 3. I'm sure.
What? 2 or 3? What?
No, 2 or 3. You're gonna need to bring a baggage train.
One is fine. Let me tell you this. If you look closely at this picture, the base is a little MDF thing that I got from my FLGS who had extras. 60 by 100 bases are not common to find.
Yeah. You know where they are common?
Yeah.
When I hit print on my printer.
Well, Neil, if you require more than one, let me say, please print an extra one for me.
And they take exactly 17 minutes to make.
Someone's prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But fun little kit bash. I saw lots of other people doing it. Definitely not my idea. It's just GW in their match playbook, which we'll be talking about here shortly. Mentioned, hey, make a baggage train 60 by 100 base. So I decided to do one out of the extra bits and bobs I had laying around, which was a couple horses, a couple guys, and lots of accoutrements. Outside of that, little purchase here. Neil, this is going to be just in time. Last week, Alex and I talked about the FAQ. So cavalry's still good, but it didn't get a terrible amount of love. It was all infantry focused this last FAQ. So guess what?
Which is perfect. It didn't get nerfed, but it didn't get but infantry got better. which kind of I think leveled the playing field a little bit. So awesome.
100%. Well, just in time for that, my mini Wargaming Forge order arrived. For my prior FAQ list, I took the Akron Brew Brawl where I had cavalry adapters 6x2 and 7x2. Those arrived.
Uh-huh.
Just time to put them on the shelf and pretend they don't exist. Mini Wargaming Forge is quality stuff, by the way. I blame myself for waiting too long to purchase these, but hey, I have them.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, for hobby for myself, you can see here a nice, lovely table at the barn with, of course, Taylor Swift, The Air is Tour in the background. As the next GW build has officially begun, me and the crew are building for the Warhammer 40k Grand Narrative this autumn. So it's lots of terrain features. Got everything built in a day. Gonna prime it all in here in about a week or so, and then just get the painting. Nothing too extreme. Should be a pretty, not simple, but like a pretty unstressed, no zero stress job, I guess I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it always astounds me every time just how much stuff you guys all knock out and how fast you do it. So kudos.
I'm just thankful that I can have them with me now, because I remember doing almost the same things of this alone, and it was just a nightmare. So, and to be fair, even with this amount, with help, I'm just getting burned out on it still. It's it's like yearly, but it's so much, and it's like, it's not engaging. It's not exciting.
Yep.
But actual happy, enjoyable hobby progress here. Neil, I see a beautiful, handsome big axe wielding high elf here. What's going on?
Yeah. This is a Hero Forge created model. I wanted to do a Corhill. So this is young Corhill before he gets an ugly face. There's nothing wrong with the old model at all. I used to own the old model, but because I'm a cheapskate and because I kind of want to see if I could do it, I made up this guy right here on the screen, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how he turned out and everything. Got the pose pretty well.
Yep.
Only thing I chose not to do was put the second axe in his other hand. So I don't know. I just always kind of wondered why in the world he would have his hand on another axe when the other one looks like it weighs more than him. But he lifts, so he's fine. He is a proud supporter of Strength Hammer.
Yes, the Strength Hammer.
I liked how it turned out. I have this metal color that I'm using. It's from a company called Game Color, and I don't even know that they make Game Color paints anymore. I don't know if it was like an old Vallejo line or something like that, but it can't be, because the metal is actually just atrocious. So it just leaves it kind of like dusty looking almost.
Yeah.
But it's the only like silverish color I have right now, so it's just what I'm using, and I don't know. When you zoom on it like this, it's a little rough, but from 3 feet, it's okay. So.
Yep, that's the problem. Our cameras keep improving, but our paint skills,
right,
not as much.
Yes.
I'm the same. If you see my pictures, you can tell whenever I got a new phone. Because oh boy, you see the mistakes a lot quicker.
Every so often, I get a model that I really want to put a lot of work into. Now, I put some decent work into this one, and every so often, but even less often, I think to myself, you know what? This is such a cool looking model, and I want to do this justice. I'm going to try and paint these eyes.
Ooh.
And I never do. I never fall through with it. I take one look at it, I think about starting it, and I'm like, I'm going to screw this up so bad that it's not going to be recoverable. And I just don't try. So maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
So if you're looking at this, you're like, why doesn't it have eyeballs? That's why.
Well, speaking of trying, I've put a little bit more effort since I talked to Alex into my my quarterly paint goal. Because Neil, as you remember, started this year, I had a goal of painting a single bust every 3 months. Mm-hmm. Now, 3 of those busts were graciously printed by you on STLs I picked up from Bust Workshop, and then one was from my friend Tom, who just surprised me with a gift. So working on this Yvraine bust right now. And let's see if I can get the focus on her for once. Probably not.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
But getting some more color blocked on it. Next 2-3 days, I'm guessing. She'll be done and put on the shelf, and I'll have met my Q3 goal. If you watched the previous segment of this, which I'm sure you did, because I'm not timestamping this, so you probably watched it all.
Mm-hmm.
I will have then started my Shingungan Lord that I picked up off of Norm, my FLGS owner, because I was too impatient to wait for my Grand Cathay stuff to ship, which is arriving probably Tuesday.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be restocked real fast,
Mm-hmm.
and you will, I'm sure, have the very first that wasn't at least released prior to release day, fully painted um, Grand Cathay Army, right?
Well, my goal actually, so obviously not this weekend at time of recording, but the weekend after, there'll be a local club day. And I'm going to take Old World. I'm going to try to take Grand Cathay. Fully built and primed. Not painted, obviously. So that's the goal. I have 1 week to build my army.
Nice. Well, I know you. It'll be done in 3 days.
Well, if work shows how it's looking like I set it up to be, should be good.
Nice.
With that said, though, there is not just Grand Cathay. And everyone, we're going to talk Grand Cathay in a week's time. Next week. There's no rush for it. It's out. You've heard thousands of other people talk about it. I want to keep digesting it more personally, and also I want to. I'm still stuck on a few parts of my list that I really want to hone in. So that's what next week's all about. But for now, there was another great supplement released. Not the FAQ that we talked about last week, but the match play guide. So Neil, have you had a chance to peruse the match play guide yet?
I've perused it, but I do not own it yet, and so I despise reading online PDFs.
I understand.
And so I need to actually get a copy in my hands before I can really dive into it without giving myself an aneurysm.
Well, we're gonna try to give you an aneurysm tonight a little bit. Because mine will be arriving Tuesday, but yeah, we just so happen to have this other copy here. And since we don't get early copies here, there's no NDAs for us to sign. What high level, Neil? Having heard about it through other podcasts and content, as well as what you have perused on it, do you like it? Do you think it's a necessity? Like 40,000 foot view. What do you think of it?
I love it, and I think it's a necessity.
Okay.
And I can't wait to include it not just in match play, but also many facets of it into narrative play as well.
What's your favorite part about it that you've seen?
Secondary objectives.
Really?
And secret objectives as well.
Okay. Second one, I figure is what you would say. The secondaries, I thought would not be your first pick, but I'm curious to go. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and obviously too, like, I'm not going to show it on screen. I have it up, but watch along at home, because honestly, most people, you probably have this in your hands by now, unless you're like me and waiting for the pre-order to arrive. So I like that they give options for tournament scoring. The victory points table, correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, is that just 20-0 of old, more or less?
From what I've heard, it is.
Okay, that's what it looked like to me.
It's what they based off the 20-0 system of in ages past, from what I understand. So,
yeah, I do have to say they have their ranking. They have their first tiebreaker VP, second tiebreaker VP on secondaries, and third tiebreaker enemy general slain. I'm real curious. I think that third tiebreaker is pretty weak. Honestly, I prefer random above that if I have to be fully on it. And 1 and 2 feel okay for like secondary tiebreakers. I could see them being in either slot. VP, this is a VP point game, and I guess based upon the secondaries you're choosing could sway the other option, but it seemed fine to me. Like if you don't know where to start with the tournament for this, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look at that stuff and worry about that stuff too much anyway, because for any event that I'm going to run, I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want, you know?
Yeah.
So, but, you know, again, if you're just getting your legs underneath you, you've never done one of these things before, you have this guide and you're like, wonder how I should do this. That's fine.
Exactly. And if you are a new person out there, I would say outside of third tiebreaker, you won't need it. You're not
Yeah.
like just put it random. Like use BCP, and even if you don't, just find some arbitrary thing that's completely random to choose it off of. Honestly,
Right. Right. It goes all the way that far. For God's sakes,
yeah,
give them both a
it's
trophy.
yeah,
So,
yeah. If it's that deep, you have a huge event. All right.
mhm.
Um, Pairings. I mean, obviously that makes sense. We've been there for pairings. So okay, army compositions. This is an interesting one. So there's open war, grand melee, and combined arms. Neil, do you have a preference of these three? Obviously, open war is just kind of what we've been playing now.
I do have a preference,
Okay,
and it's
what's your preference?
none of them and all of them. So
All right, there we go.
my preference is that I wish all of them were all together. Like I don't know why they're separated out, honestly.
Well, open war makes sense. That's just
Oh yeah, yeah.
is what
Open
it is.
war is fine, right? Like I'm considering more the other two. So
Right. So grand melee, you cannot spend more than 25% of your army's total points value on a single character of unit. So at 2,000 points, characters 500 point cap.
Mhm.
Your army may include any number of level ones and twos, but 0 to 1 level threes per 1,000 and 0 to 1 level fours per 2,000. So you're not doubling up on the level fours.
I love that.
I do too. And with the current changes, with the
Mhm.
FAQ, that's fine. I'll take a 4
Yeah,
and a
I think
3 if I really
anyway.
want to.
Yep.
Honestly, probably 2 level threes if I'm honest with you. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at Grand Cathay right now. Two Shangungan lords on Longma. Probably 2 level threes.
I don't know why you'd take a level 4 at this point, and
Ye-
that's fine. Unless maybe you're only going to have one wizard in your army and you want as much spellcasting power as you possibly can. But then again, like, do you have 4 spells in whatever lore you take that are worth casting?
Well, it's not even that. I look at high elves and high magic specifically.
Mhm.
I'm going to take 1 level 4, assuming I'm not taking a Stormweaver, like a normal Archmage. I'm going to take a level 4, and then I decide, do I want Silvery Wand or Lore Familiar, whatever it is. Probably Lore
Yeah.
Familiar, because I want to make sure I don't need 4 spells, but I need
Mhm.
3 of those.
Yeah.
And if I can pick those 3, or if I take the Silvery Wand and choose 5 and most likely get those 3 anyway, that's the choice for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
I think that's a choice for everybody. It's a level 3 with a lore familiar because you still got your 100 points to choose from, right?
Yeah.
Like it'd be one thing like if a level 3 wizard only got 75 points of magical items and a level 4 got 100, right? Now that's a little bit more to differentiate the two. Because level 3 still get 100 points, it's like, well, why don't I just take a lore familiar? I'll take 3 spells, but they'll absolutely be the spells that I want, and then just
yeah,
move on with my day. Like,
exactly. No, and the thing is too with the FAQ, I realized I was playing it wrong. I would take Silvery Wand on occasion and get my 5th spells a High Elf Mage, and still only cast 4 spells because that's what I thought was right.
yeah, that's what I thought was right too. Yeah.
Apparently, we could have been at shenanigans left and right. I mean, I did it for like 1 game. I'm like, that feels wrong, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Grand Melee, I like that change. That's fine. And then combined arms, 0 to 3 of any given character, 0 to 4 of any core unit, 0 to 3 is special, 0 to 2 of rare or mercenaries. That seems fine too. I'd be curious. I've not explored any of the Horde armies as a high elf player, and then looking at Grand Cathay, which has been my love mentally as of late. There's 0 issues with this. Even this
Yeah.
combined with Grand Melee, 0 issues. Maybe in a Horde army, only thing I could see is possibly core being an issue in certain builds. And I'm not talking somebody who's trying to do a bunch of MSU. I'm talking Skaven.
So one thing we haven't mentioned yet too is if you are already restricted, like let's say you have a Arcane Journal army that is says you can have 0 to 3 bolt throwers
Mhm.
for every 1,000, which means you could have technically 6 bolt throwers, right? You can have 6 bolt throwers. So that's the thing you can do
Fair.
because they are restricted. So already currently in that journal. So this is for more anything that just you can choose.
Yeah, this is the outliers, which I think the Renegade pack might be the ones that might get Renegade pack. Yeah. The Legacy armies will be the ones that might have to think about this a little bit deeper, and maybe that'll be adjusted when Valkyrie releases his Renegade pack. But yeah, no, good
Yeah.
shout out there. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't mind if these were thrown together because the armies I played, zero effect on what I want to do.
Yeah.
The biggest hits in
What
Grand
I,
Melee anyway, so.
what I love about it too is that it kind of says, hey, you know that arcane journal army that may not have been that strong. Oh well, you can break these restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, like I can't normally take 6 bolt throwers, but in a Lathan Seaguard army, I can.
And with
So is
infantry
that
of
good?
plenty,
Who knows, right? But it's a thing you can do.
with
So
infantry of plenty, I feel like that might be pretty good.
it might be a thing you want to do. So that love to have a an episode on how this changes some of the arcane journal armies that are out there. But
A lot of
maybe,
folks have been doing that. That would be a fun topic maybe in the future to discuss as we see this shake out.
Mhm.
All right, so Neil, as a TO, we've done player place terrain, we've done our own place terrain, we've done whatever. So once again, I'm kind of glad to hear of how much terrain I think is more important in this whole document than where should I place it or the size. I can figure out the size and the placement based upon my preference. How much is kind of nice to know. Like what's the intended use of terrain for this game system?
I find having come from having come from a fantasy, then Age of Sigmar, then back to fantasy, I like my terrain. I've always liked my terrain. Anybody who knows me in war games knows I love a beautiful tabletop, and I don't care whether that impacts the play or not. You
Right.
know, to me, it always impacts it positively, even if it does make it exceptionally hard to get around because it's themed, right? But I know a lot of people do not share that opinion, and that's perfectly fine. Um, it's fine that this exists. I think most TOs are going to set their tables, maybe use a very base guideline of how much to put on.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of times when you're TO in an event and you have the terrain that you have, and you have to sometimes make that go real far.
Yeah.
So you kind of get stuck with doing what you can do anyway. And then maybe you have a bunch of like smaller terrain pieces, right? And to put 6 on a tabletop with these smaller terrain pieces just doesn't look good. So maybe you increase the number, right? Just to get something looking a little more akin to an interesting battlefield. So nobody wants to play on a 6x4 felt, right? So
Well, see,
we want to see things.
here's where I'll disagree slightly on that. I always argue for it, and I'm always turned down. Larger events. So at the U.S. Open Grand Narrative every year, here's a super dense city table. Here's more of like a slightly more open table, things like that. I always, not every room, not every battle sector, but maybe like 2 in the whole event. I want 2 tables that are just barren wastelands, which means no terrain. I want the luck of the draw on a narrative event to be you guys landed on the field, which is probably where you'd fight anyway.
Right.
I don't mind, especially in Old World, a completely empty table. If that's part of the narrative as a whole. Obviously, for competitive events, I'd want each table to be somewhat close.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think of like the Badlands or maybe even in Kemmery, right?
yes,
And like if you're gonna have like miles of sand dunes or something like that, then I can see that, right? But even the Badlands, I want some like some burnout something or other and some husks of some trees and with some people hanging nooses off of them. I want to see something, and it doesn't have to
Hey.
be a lot, but even if it's just like a tree here, a tree there, somewhere,
Listen,
just to kind of
the battle
set the scene.
of Finneville Field, Neil, was a field. All right, and it was a crucial event in the Warhammer setting. I'm saying not
fair.
everywhere, but once in a while, very rarely, I want to randomly walk up and be like, I have no terrain on this table. Cool.
Now, if I took a Croatian army to the Battle of the Finuval Plain, you better believe there's going to be some trees there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to use my rule, baby.
Pocket trees left and right. I'm so glad this is wood now.
I choose trees.
Yay. But I do like, okay, so generally speaking, if you have a 6x4 table, 6 pieces of terrain. It says a piece every 12 inches. If I look at my table here to my left, that's exactly what I have. I have six pieces. 1 small, 4 medium, 1 large, I would say. It works. Feels good. Looks thematic. It's neat. I'm happy with it, so hey. But yeah, also do a naked terrain, Neil. Do it, I dare you. All right, so then we have match play scenarios coming up here. Talks about deployment, fixed turn limit, random game length. Obviously, random game length is kind of hard. And it's the only thing we've had in the game system right now with some scenarios, but I think most people have just been saying it's 6 turns regardless. Or it can't go past 6 turns. So I think this is just giving explanations, options. How do you play within these types of scenarios type thing? Neil, anything to say here?
I haven't looked at them, terribly in depth. Outside like the actual scenarios themselves, I've more been paying attention to like the secondaries and everything, so I'll pipe them up a little bit more on that. But I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, the biggest thing too is like what we've been doing anyway. So if it's a random turn length, it always caps at 6. The fixing of breakpoints to be a little bit tighter has been good for me. Nothing really super extreme here. I think the victory clarifications on what gives you victory points and how much was much more needed and beneficial to all games than anything else on the next page. Yeah, I guess, do you want to walk through scenarios, Neil, or do you want to go right to secondaries?
Let's walk through scenarios, shall we? I will pull them up, though. Give me a second to pull them up. You can start on the first one.
All right, scenario 1, upon the field of glory. So pretty much 12 inches off the line. Winner rolls off, deployment zones, yada yada. Player choose armies alternating as usual. Recommended game and conditions for scenario are fixed turn limit, random game length, or breakpoints. So you have those options of within these scenarios that are being created, how to end them. Did you kill enough? Did you finish it enough? Or is it, hey, it's a 4-turn game. This is a weird one, whatever. And then adding secondary objectives within the scenarios themselves. So a scenario may include baggage trains, special features, the domination and or strategic locations, secondary objectives. So we'll get to those too. So I think the key thing here for me, Neil, is this is just line up and kill, but here's where you can make tweaks based upon your event, which means I have 3 different types of things on game length, and I have 3 or 4 different things on secondary objectives. No 2 events have to be the same anymore, because I don't feel any one of those is broken as an option or combination.
Mm-hmm. I'm still pulling it up.
No worries. It's page 20, or 14 in the document itself. 20 if you're following along at home with your own copy.
There we go. I've got such a potato version of this that it's upside down. Let's flip it. Maybe.
No worries.
Oh, it's not gonna. Yeah, my potato version is only upside down. So.
I mean,
I'm gonna let you keep reading them, Chuck.
All right. Well, the second one is King of the Hill, which this existed in 8th edition. It is a fun one.
This one I have looked into. So
what's that?
This one I have seen a little bit. So basically, you have the hill in the center, right? And then you have the option of putting a special terrain piece out in the middle as well.
Yep, and it's unit strength. You can contest. You can control the hill. Vanguards cannot be made in this scenario, and then you get extra 100 victory points if you control the hill, essentially. Also, you can add in baggage trains or special features, secondary objectives.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like best about these scenarios is they tell you which secondaries that you can put in.
Yes.
Like, that's really cool to me. And it's their options. You don't have to have them in. But, the narrative player in me says put them all in. Right? Let's go ham. That's probably what I'll be doing.
Well, I mean, for this one in particular, having played this in 8th edition, and I had a crazy high elf list against a Bretonian list, and I just failed my casting for a turn while I was on the hill, so I lost. Because
Yeah.
it was all you're just fighting on the hill. Really, the hill didn't matter because I was going to table my opponent or they were going to table me. But having a baggage train off and to the side for each of us might have made it more interesting.
Yeah.
So the hill, I think it's a good scenario, but you need to have that extra secondary, I feel, just to help pull things away from that center, so you're not just killing in the center, because then it kind of makes the hill redundant at that point.
Yeah, but let's remember too, though, that the hill's worth 100 victory points. That's nothing. That's a general. That's your extra bonus points for killing a general. On the grand scheme of you scoring 2,000 points against somebody else potentially, right? I mean, it's still win more, right?
Yeah.
at a point. But as you said, right, if you're really watching how many points you're giving away, and how many points you're taking. I mean, do you let somebody else take the hill and then you just shoot the hell out of them, right? Do you go around for the baggage train, just try not to lose troops? So there's a lot of options now with the scenario, and that's what I love about this new match play. And I'll be probably saying it over and over again as we go through this, is that you can't just sit in a corner anymore. Like you can't just like hide a chaos dwarf army in the very corner and just shoot, which could be effective, right? You might outscore your opponents, but you're certainly not going to get any of these objectives.
I'll say there might be a scenario or two that it's fine for you to do that, but at the same time with this one, the King of the Hill specifically, you're only 10 inches away, not 12 inches away from that center line.
Yeah,
you are already closer anyway, so like they're trying to help mitigate the issues of slower moving units too. So,
but let's say you're playing an event where you don't know what the secondary objectives are going to be. Maybe like you have to bring a baggage train, right? But you don't know which ones are going to be until the day of the event, right?
That's huge. That's a
so
big
how
meta
do you build
adjuster.
your list, right? You got to build your list assuming that every single objective is in play, right? Because this completely change how you're gonna build your army lists. Depending on how somebody sets up an event with any one of these scenarios, where they tell you about them, where they don't tell you about them, all that kind of stuff. What they include, what they don't include. So I think that's what I'm most excited for in this entire book.
I think right now, personally, if I was to run an event, it would be, here are the missions, and as you said, here are the potential secondaries overall.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather show up to the event knowing what missions I need to play and not knowing which secondaries are in play until the day of the event.
Right.
I think that's more exciting and causes more diversity. I mean,
yeah.
I would even say too, like the highest level competitive event, I feel that's what should be done. Like if you're releasing everything, I mean, this game is harder to build for it, say like than Sigmar or 40K, where you can just take the best thing and go for it. But I think I'm not looking for the best list, which I think is the problem we have with those other game systems potentially at the world level events. I'm not looking for the best best list. I'm looking for the best player, like Vince. No, I want to see the best player who can adapt, as opposed to the person who just brings the best toys.
Right. So I think there's going to be a best something, even if you say like, I'm not going to tell you what the secondaries are, right? You're still going to have a best something to run in that instance, right? That's fine, and that's what I like the thought of events doing it in different ways, because then what you get to do at that point is you get to write different lists, right? So
Exactly.
maybe this is my all comers list. This is my all secondaries, all whatever list, right? This is my more tailor-made list because you said the event's going to run like this, and this is what I have available to score, right? So it's just going to change possibly what you're going to run. So
exactly.
that's my 2 cents on that.
And to be it's that without making it a comp. It's not comp. It's just options within the pack, within the current comp of official GW.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that getting out to these objectives and things that are in the back lines, something that used to be like, why the hell am I ever going to run ambushers when I don't know if they're ever going to come on the battlefield, right? All of a sudden, now you're like, that sounds like that might be a decent option if I can go in there and sneak somebody's baggage train, right?
Yep.
Like, so now these things are becoming available to list writing, and even as maybe not the most optimal thing in a normal list, but now a consideration, right? So
Yeah, don't forget we have a complete game right now with all the books out, outside of the second Grand Cathay book, which sure whatever, but yeah, we're in a you can figure it out and plan for it now stage. Scenario 3, drawn battle lines. Speaking of next up, reserves are not deployed at the start of battle. Instead, they enter play during compulsory moves of any turn. And when they arrive, they enter as reinforcements. So once again, going to your reinforcements, if you put this in, that means there's one mission where I don't have to roll. I know when they come in, and that can be huge, especially if you're a Beastman player. Oh my goodness. And then once again, strategic locations, secondary objectives, domination, and baggage trains. So those choices alone out of those secondary objectives can really switch up how someone's going to bring something in during this whole mission structure.
I gotta say, man, this is these deployment zones, though, what a pain in the ass. But sure, I mean, you got to do it, right?
I mean, it's the diagonal. It's the diagonal. It's not as bad as it's not the Tetris shapes we get in other game systems sometimes. So
yeah, it's fine.
Scenario 4, close quarters, which is odd because you're still 12 inches away. It's you're fought in a narrow mountain pass. Short battlefield edges are impassable, so it's kind of like Battle for the Pass, but played from a tournament standpoint on the long table edges. Once again, choose your secondary objectives. Strategic locations, only 2, and Dominion, secondary objectives. So this is one where, hey, bagger trains aren't there because they can't really hide anywhere. So fun there. That's a simple one. To be fair, I very rarely on the long table edge side do I encounter that short edge becoming useful at all for a table edge. I'm usually not even near there personally, but hey, maybe some people are. Scenario 5. Now this one you can complain about now. That's the one where there's an 18-inch circle in the middle. Deployment zone B1, B2, A1, A2. Set up the battlefield. Winner of the roll selects deployment marked A. Their opponent will use the opposite. If the winner of the roll selects deployment zone marked B, blah, blah, blah. And then you deploy armies back and forth. So this could be a right mess right away. I like it for fun games. I hope I don't see this at a tournament.
Yeah. I think that's a good shout.
I mean, I could be wrong. This could be the thing where you throw it in, and all of a sudden it's a competitive setting, and all of a sudden people are like, "What the hell do I do?" And maybe that's what you want as a TO.
Yeah, I don't know, anything that avoids like the bad feels of which is what's the one where you can roll a 1 and half of your army doesn't come on basically every time you roll a 1 a unit stays in the reserve. So if it's anything anywhere getting close to that, then it's time to maybe say goodbye.
Yeah, there could be some feel bad based upon the different army matchups. Like if I'm an elite army and I face a horde, they're just gonna turn to face one of my sections and just destroy it, no matter what I do. It's gonna suck unless I can break out, which then you're spending 3 turns breaking out to regroup up, and then what are you doing for a turn or 2?
Yeah.
Still, I'm glad it exists. I will play this one for sure. It'll probably end up being one of my favorites, but not at a tournament setting. And then scenario 6, encirclement, a little bit of offset on the long table edge here. But pretty standard. I mean, oh no, what I like about these scenarios mostly is it's still all about kill points. Here's secondaries. We're about to talk about them briefly, but they're built. Sigmar's had this since the beginning. 40K's had this for the last 6 years. They'll make cool scenarios, and the scenarios are written without the thought of how is this game meant to be played. Whereas this, I think the core designers are going, this is a kill points game. You're made to kill opponents. Let's build the scenario deployments in a way that makes sense to go kill your opponent while adding some nuance and differences without being weird. Outside of that one that's a little bit off, but like, sure. Like, 1 out of 6 is a better ratio than we've seen for the other game systems.
Yeah, I love the objective play being secondary.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. They're secondaries, right? So it's secondary scoring. It could be super important, right? With now having to get 300 points for a victory, right? I mean, or more than 300 points. The difference between, getting the baggage train and your opponent not, that could win you the game, right?
Yeah.
But also, if I still, blow away that 500-point dragon, haha, okay,
Yeah.
I got a quarter of your army now, bitch, right? It's like, I don't really care if you get my baggage train at this point. I am way ahead. So,
well, I think there's also fun things you could do too as a TL, either at the event or before the event, depending on the size. Saying, here's the missions. Secondaries are going to be determined by me. Hey, by the way, all players, you have 1 week to fill out this survey. What secondary objectives do you like? Choose one that your favorite and choose least favorite, and you can use that to just change up what you do. Like, players get a little agency, but like different players are gonna have different options and opinions based on their army preferences.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of nuance you can do with size of events. I feel with this too. So secondary objectives, baggage train 60 by 100. It's dangerous terrain, blah blah blah. Baggage trains are placed in battlefield has been set, but before deployment begins, each player places their baggage train so that it's wholly within their deployment zone, at least 3 inches away from the battlefield edge. Cannot be placed on terrain features, straddling a low linear obstacle. And once it's placed, cannot be moved for any reason. And how to control it or destroy it to get VPs. 150 victory points. If it's controlled, and if you destroy it, you win 250, essentially. Now that those points can be adjusted based upon whatever you'd like, but just in general, I really want to hold that baggage train and I'll let my opponent get 250 victory points. That's for sure. Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Plus, also
so again, so what do you hold it with, right? Do you hold it with that hammer unit? Probably not, right? Do you hold it with an infantry unit that just became a whole lot better? Sure.
What's this guy? Ham weapon and shields, baby? Oh yeah, you're standing right next to that.
Exactly. Right? So you're probably going to see a lot of big infantry units like hanging out back there by those kind of things. Does that make? But if they're there, they're not somewhere else scoring an objective that requires a core unit per chance, right? So
just saying baggage train alone is an option in my event. Really, it's going to dictate at least half of my core and maybe a third of my heroes, I feel.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm going to put in there to at least defend it, minimum.
I'm at a point right now where I'm like considering high elf spearmen.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What an amazing time we live in.
I too. I'm like, high elf spearmen. They're cheap. I get a shield and hand weapon. Yeah, I kind of want them. I can bring an attachment.
And I get shield wall, for God's sakes, and they're the cheapest thing in the book.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't forget, you can detachment a small unit of archers next to it to stand and shoot for it too, and it's still relatively inexpensive. Not to mention, you put a level like 1 in there, and all of a sudden you get ethereal off. Fuck.
Right. Yeah.
Probably level 3, honestly, but anyway.
I got probably better places for that ethereal, but that's become much harder to cast at this point. So.
Yes, very true. Power scrolls for days.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. I also like that they're encouraging us to go kit bash. I'm not the only one who's done mine. I do need to see if I can find a little cabbage to add to it because Val's instructed the world that cabbage is the economy with these baggage trains, so you need to have a cabbage on there somewhere. So if I can find one, I'll throw it on, just for fun.
Sure.
All right, special features, Neil. What's the special features? Do you have it up, or do you need me to go through it?
Let me pull it up here. You go through it.
Okay. So special features: terrain feature measuring no more than 6 inches at the widest point. They're impassable. Yada yada. Placing it. Placed in the center of the battlefield. Once placed, special feature does not scatter, because you can scatter terrain, which I did that recently, which was kind of fun in my one game. And then controlling. Unit strength 10 or more within 6 inches. Not stupid, yada yada, all the stuff you'd expect. If you control it, 200 victory points at the end of the game. You can also, on top of that, add these special properties, which I think some of these are on the Herdstone, like Tingle in the Air, Magic
Mhm.
Resist. That's definitely on the Herdstone that passes to everybody around it, friend or foe. So you roll d6 to see what you get. So yeah, Tingle in the Air, Magic Resist 3. Honor the Forebearers on the 3 to 4. Hatred all enemies within the 6 inches. And 5 to 6, whilst in control, you're unbreakable. So you could add these extra things. And not to mention, this gives us a template, Neil, for narrative events to make our own unusual properties table that could be just full of fun and shenanigans.
Right. Yep. Love it. And the greatest thing too is because I was messing around once upon a time with building up like my own like kind of narrative scenario, and it was going to have objective based play in it, whatever. And now I no longer have to do that. So
Yeah.
that's I'm done with that now, and now I just get to kind of use what they've already put out, and I just get to work around that, which is awesome.
Yeah. I think, honestly, 'cause my favorite scenario from Old Edition was Watchtower. So I think this is my favorite secondary, more than the baggage train. I'm sure there's high elf 3D prints out there to make a little like Waystone or something. So maybe,
Oh, for sure.
yeah. So maybe I'll if I can find it or you find it, I'll bug you to print me one in the future just to bring along with my army.
Oh yeah. I already have one.
Oh,
So
perfect. I will take one, please, sir. All right, then after that, domination. So this is table quarters. For each quarter of the battlefield you control, win 100 victory points. There is some caveats here, but essentially, the more of the board you control, the more extra victory points you have. This is a very good one, I feel, for like the last mission of an event. Mostly because you get those two players that are fighting for that top spot, and they want to go all out, and they're going to be very tight, but all of a sudden now, hey, I don't necessarily want you guys to fight, per se. I want you to control these quarters, potentially. That might be your move. Also means maybe you'll finish in the 5 or 6 rounds I've dictated without going over, because I need to clean up this event and go home.
right.
I have a feeling
Yeah,
the domination will be the round 5 secondary for sure.
Yeah. When I was trying to come up with objectives, and I was kind of tinkering around with my thing, like obviously one of them was going to be like, like squares of some sort, whether there was going to be three per side or 2 per side, or however you want to do it. You don't want to do like halves or what. But I mean, there's only so many things you can come up with, and so they came up with all the same type of things that I was coming up with as well.
Exactly.
So just now I don't have to think about it anymore, and I just love it.
Yeah. Well, the other one we have is strategic locations, which the missions are saying 2 or 3 or what have you. So essentially a 40 millimeter objective, just like we're used to in every other game, but it's a secondary, not a primary. I'm not going to stand on circles. I will try to stand on the circles as I kill my opponent, for some extra victory points, and it's 30 each. It's actually the least amount of all of them. Because also, this is not that type of game, so I'm fine with it being there and it not being the thing we're going to see all the time. I might see it once in an event, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Or in tandem with things like the baggage train. And I think and there's placement too of all these objectives and things like that. I think the key thing that I've not heard a single other podcast talk about, Neil, I know you're already there with me. Baggage train. Special feature and objectives. We have the sizes of these. We know what they are. We can use markers. We can use templates, whatever. A lot of people are building their own baggage trains. I want my own special terrain feature. I will build my own 40 millimeter. Actually, I already have one from older stuff, but I'm gonna build my own objective markers to match my army. These are extra awards you can have at an event for best painted or most creative, coolest, essentially. So you can have a baggage train award. You could have an objective, what have you, special feature award. You could have these things in existence, and they can be things people can shoot for and have a great time going forward.
So, just so you're aware, at my narrative event already,
Yep.
even though I've not finished the pack, there will be a best painted baggage train or coolest baggage train award for whoever wins it. So absolutely, I'm already on that with you for sure.
Yep.
So
I figured it's gonna be at mine too. At least baggage train, the objective one, I could see people just going, whatever, move on. I'm gonna make my own, but baggage train, you can have a lot of creativity on a 60 by 100 base. So
absolutely, yeah, that's a wild amount of area to mess with. So
it's a whole merworm.
it's a whole merworm.
All right. All in all, Neil, I love everything about that. I love that they're options. I love that they're levers we can pull. I love they can be turned on and off, and I can still have a great time with this event. And the game or at any event. And I don't know that what I'm walking into is going to be almost exactly the same from the last event I just played.
Right.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah. Because the thing about it is when you play a pickup game with your friend, what do you play? You know, if you're like me and you get a game in every month, 2 months, sometimes if it gets bad, we just line up and smash. You know, and I ain't got time to be reading up on all the rest of it. Like, what do you want to do? Oh, we can roll for a scenario, and sometimes we do that. But most of the time, it's just line up and smash. And so, but this gives you an option to change that up fairly easily as well with different options. I just love it. So thank God, not the same thing every time, but it's still the same game. You're still trying to kill the other person's army, but it's just changed so much now. I think this is going to add a lot of flavor.
Well, the opposite. So I get a game in probably almost weekly. And we usually line up and smash even in those situations. Maybe a scenario roll off here and there. Having these things added in doesn't make me stress that I don't feel prepared for an event by not playing the missions.
Mm-hmm.
I understand how these things are going to work within the scope of the whole game, not just mission by mission. Mission by mission, it might change slightly, but like I'll have a game plan that will mostly be intact for whatever you tell me we're playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it fun and exciting.
Right. And what's funny too is like when you don't play the scenarios though, and you just play line them up and smash, right? You start to get these ideas of what's good, right? Just based on that.
Yeah.
And so you can get really caught out if you haven't played some of these scenarios, if you haven't tried to think of some of these secondaries. So it's almost like, I mean, you kind of have to play around with some of these secondaries just to kind of figure out what you can and can't do with your armies.
Right.
You know, so if you do just line them up, you probably are going to feel like, oof, I need to do some practice with this, you know?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of practice is always key, but like, it's all around good. I'm very excited for Match Play Guide. That with the FAQ, I think is really course corrected a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Not that we need to dive as deep into this, but also there was an added edition for doubles events.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Yeah, I'll be taking a look at that because sometimes I have questions. Even when I was, doing Sigmar doubles and stuff, it's like, what do you allow? Like, what do you allow? Like the one army that's actually two armies to get away with, like so.
Yeah. Well, having ran one at Terathi last year and just kind of making it up as I went, this would have been so much more useful.
Yeah.
Of course, there's also the missions, how alliances work, and even after that, they even talk through like team events. Like they go pretty deep in here, and then additional rules on top of it. So if these aren't enough, or if you have a very narrative event, escalation events or secret objective events.
Mhm.
I like secret objectives a lot. Escalation, yeah, I'll play that 100%. That's definitely a narrative thing. Secret objectives could be fun for match play or narrative play, I feel. And I have seen on the Old World Facebook group, someone's turning these secret objective cards into like playing cards that you can print out.
Yeah.
So you can just have them with you and actually have them face down on the table, so you can't be cheating with it, essentially.
Right. Yeah. That's what that's if I ran secret objectives, that's exactly what I would do. Is everybody would get some cards, right? And you just put it out. You deploy, and you put out your secret objective card
Yep.
after everybody's deployed, right? You put that out there, each one, and you can flip it over at the end of the game. Done. And then you don't have to tell them, but you've done the you've done your diligence.
I mean, with 12 different ones too, you could easily just walk around during the event, especially in a narrative event, not a match play event, but a narrative event. Walk
Mhm.
around and just hold out many cards and be like, pick one, pick one, pick one. That's your secret.
Yeah.
That's your secret. You just found out what your mission is from your leader.
Right.
You might want to add some caveats like, what's the fire the artillery. Maybe if you don't have any war machines, you're allowed to redraw.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know how I get with making magic cards and things like that. So
Yes.
yeah, I'll have some fun with that for sure.
Yeah. No, all in all, the match play guide is just, it's a good match play guide.
Mhm.
Same feelings as if we're in like coming out of Age of Sigmar, Wild West into Age of Sigmar 1.0 in full. Like a lot of fun, a lot of neat stuff here. But
Yeah.
it's within the scope of control of the TO and the player base, but it
Mhm.
still branches from tight to very loose as far as how they're going to interact with the game itself.
Yeah, and I have not played any games obviously with it yet, but I am very excited to see how these scenarios and everything, and these secondary objectives and everything now um, work out on the tabletop with the changes to what you're going to see on the tabletop. So like more infantry, right? Cavalry's still good. Infantry's better and playable now, right?
Yeah.
Monsters maybe dialed back a little bit to the point where now they can be managed better, right? But are still influential, right?
Yes.
So it feels, and I haven't played it yet, okay, but it feels like this could be the best game state we've had, and it may be.
Yeah.
I really do hope it turns out to be as balanced as I hope it is. Now, obviously, there's always going to be some armies that are just going to be better than others, but I can't wait to kind of see how it all shakes out and how having the objectives is going to change people's armies. Like, is Bretonia Renegades still going to be as good as it always was?
I would say already no.
Right?
Already no. And that's from
yeah,
the FAQ alone. That's not even match play. That's just FAQ.
Right. So if that's not, then awesome, right? And even but it sounds like it's still going to be playable.
Yes.
Like, it sounds like you're still going to win with it, but it might not be an auto win. Like, it might not be a push for victory, right? So
well, I think what's good about this too, this match play guide, is it was written in such a way that right now infantry is looking better. A year from now, we get a mission state that says, "Hey, cavalry's on top," or "Monsters are great," or "It's Hero Hammer again." This match play guide is still going to work.
Yeah,
it's not changing anything to do with how you're going to want to build your army based on power. It's just about how will you play your game. So you're going to look at it from the scope of, here's what I need to achieve. Let me build my list to achieve that. And if my list building changes based upon an FAQ, that's fine, but it does not have to affect how that's going to work with that match play guide, which is the best option we could have had.
Yeah. So here's to hoping Cole is listening to this episode. He's getting super excited.
6
Can't wait
cannons,
to bring his
baby.
empire back out. He's gonna get that 6 cannon list going on. So, bring him back into the fold.
Now we got listen. Strength 4 great swords. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
Honestly, it's the halberds and the shields, right? Switching. So, I don't know. Can they switch to hand weapon shield, the halberd guys?
If you have, everyone has a hand weapon in this game. It's just, do you have
Perfect.
a shield or not?
So you put the shield on them, you can switch back and forth. That's awesome.
As
That's
long
a
as
lot
they
of
can,
fun.
yeah. If you can equip a shield or have a shield, you're in a great state as infantry right now. I mentioned it earlier with Alex, but I'll mention it here too because it's been a day since I talked about it, or 2 days. I played with my Lisbon recently, and I had a block of 15 Saurus warriors with spears and a block of 10 with hand weapon shields. I went with the spears for the extra rank on a charge, and let me tell you, I should have went hand weapon and shields.
Really?
They got run over, whereas the hand weapon and shield guys that had less models, 3 turns, like, whatever, got this, no problem. 3 up, got you, we're good, love it. Shield wall round
Wow.
1, yeah, there is a lot more to think about when you're being charged of what your opponent can do. So, like, I'm bringing Seaguard. I love Lothran Seaguard. They're
Yeah.
going to be one of my mainstays for sure, if not Spearmen.
Yeah.
But when you charge me, what's your unit doing? Do I get to swing
Mhm.
first? Then I'll do my spears. If I get to swing second, I might go hand weapons for that first round and just sacrifice those attacks just to live a
Yeah.
lot longer. It's
I
very,
mean,
and I love it. I love that. I love that.
you think about having I don't know, a 10 wide because elves move 5 inches, so you can get away with this. A 10 wide, 30 block of spearmen, all right, that take a charge that because they're being charged and they have spears, it's +1 initiative. Elven reflexes +2 initiative. You're probably going at least at the same time
Yes.
as somebody else with 30 spear attacks. Now, granted, they're strength 3, no AP, all right, but it's still 30 dice rolls at a weapon skill 4. Nothing to sneeze at.
Hey, you could even get in a little razor banner, get some armor bane going. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Also,
yeah.
I think I'm gonna shout out to local Brad who read it and we looked through it. Poison. So my first interpretation of poison, because it's +2 now, not automatic, which I didn't hate because it gives you a chance to get armor bane potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Armor bane's still a natural roll of a 6. We get more dice at it. Say I rolled a hit, I got 10 attacks and I get 4 6s.
Mm-hmm.
Then I roll all those dice. I don't have to remember which ones had poison, because the way it works on the wording is you add the +2 to any of your wound rolls. So I don't have to like pull out 4 and roll them separately. I roll them all together and say, okay, these ones that I need +2 to get you on, they got it now. As long as I got the 6. You have to remember how many 6s you rolled to hit, and that's how many +2 modifiers you have on the wound roll. But you don't have to do dice per dice on it, which makes it much more powerful than I was originally thinking.
Okay.
And I don't hate it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad. I am glad they dialed back. You know how many shots? Like you can't shoot 100 bows, right?
Sure.
That's
Yeah. That's fine.
at a dragon, right? You know, so I get that was necessary at the time, but I'm glad it's been dialed back. I love every single change they've made. The only one, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on this, that I'm kind of like I'm not sure it was necessary, is the frenzy change.
I think the frenzy change was probably the worst one. Like, I've talked to like about the BSB change because it killed the Sisters of
Yeah,
Avalorn build.
Star,
I would
yeah,
rather they just never allow that Sisters bullcrap in the first place
yeah,
than
sure.
making that roll. But I think Frenzy's probably the worst one. I don't get it. I don't like it. I hope they go back on that one.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think it was done. I don't really have a reason for it as to why, because when you're making supporting attacks, like what I thought was, oh well, if they're frenzied and now you get an extra rank of attacks, but it's not an extra rank of attacks, it's a supporting attack,
Yeah.
right? So it's not, you're not getting the extra attack anyway, you know,
Yeah, like,
because it's a supporting attack.
and I think
I don't get it, but okay, whatever.
I never encountered it, so I thought of witch elves. They could benefit from it, and they're already suffering as is. And outside of
Right.
that, locally, Tom in my group runs a corn list for fun that has frenzy, which wasn't a worry anyway.
Yeah.
That was his
Yeah.
soft list that was super casual and just had a good time. Maybe sometimes it got you, and sometimes it didn't. It wasn't like it was a beat stick. So like, I don't get the frenzy change, but also it took those fun lists like that and just killed it.
Huh. Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. I agree with you. That's probably the biggest one where it's like, fix that.
Yeah.
Made a mistake, GW. It's okay. Even pimps fuck up.
Overall, though, I mean, it maybe I don't know. It's an A+ for me, especially when you consider all of this combined. You know, the match play guide, the
Yeah.
FAQ, the errata, all of it combined. It is. I mean, it's essentially a different game than we've been playing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's
I,
it's
but with all the best
yeah.
parts emphasized and all the worst parts dialed back. You know, so
Yeah, it's an FAQ done right, and it's a match play guide that's perfectly slotted in.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a fan of everything that's happened. I'm real curious to see how the Cathay armies are going to shake out because they do seem really good right now, but also so does Beast of Chaos. So I think now we're about to enter this state of the game where we're not focused. Like, I should say this. We had issues in the past with certain army builds. The Sisters of the Thorn, Fire, Pillars of Fire spam. We had obviously the Bretonians, Vanguard, Pegasus Knights spam. Not spam, but like just goodness. I'm real curious if the only thing we need to worry about now is a few outliers, or if it's going to be like some armies are going to pop up more and more. And it's like we'll see what happens. It's going to shake out the way it
Yeah,
shakes out. Like
yeah.
what's the meta going to look like? How's it going to be adjusted? Um, and how fast will they do it? If something stands out, if Beasts of Chaos are just like ungodly good and just running over people, because let me tell you, the one game I had, Beasts of Chaos had no problems with their magic, whereas my Slann had a lot of troubles with magic. Was that just a one off, or is that going to be what the norm is? And some armies and there's a have and have not. So I'm real curious how it's going to shake out, and I'm excited
Yeah,
to see it. I'm here
yeah.
for it.
Oh yeah. I'm like Beast of Chaos, like in the hands of the right player. Yeah, you can win with that. Like I'm terrified to see what Brad's gonna do with Beast of Chaos. You know.
Yes, in hands of the right player. I'm just gonna get Brad completely drunk before we roll single dice, and I'll have a shot. And he will be full willing to. And that way, if he beats me, I'll be like, all right, well, there we go.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Just roofie his ass. Yeah.
there you go.
Before he plays the game.
Nah, that should be fun. He's excited for it, but also it's Brad, so he might look at it and go, "That's too powerful," and then play something completely different.
Yeah, yeah.
um, Regardless, I can't wait. I've been list building like crazy. Neil, by the way, at the time of recording this right now, full Grand Cathay rules are inside the app, so
Oh,
that's where I'm at right now.
nice.
Full steam ahead. So, all right. Well, I said next week we'll probably bring you the Grand Cathay Arcane Journal because hopefully I'll had a game in. We'll see when the timing works out for this recording next time. But Neil, anything to say right now? Match play in general, or what Alex and I talked about? 10 years of Sigmar.
10 years of Sigmar. Well, let me just say for 10 years of Sigmar, man, when it came out, I was so jacked. And you know what's funny? It's what's hilarious is I can remember in 8th edition sitting in my basement playing the game against myself because I had nobody to play,
Yeah,
and thinking, man, I wish I could convince one person to read a rule book this fucking big because nobody wants to play this game because nobody knows how to play it. And here I am playing Old World with this
Yeah.
equally sized book, right? That's even more convoluted than the last one. Loving every second of it, but now actually having people to play against. But when Sigmar came out, and I was actually like, hey, like I can actually explain this to somebody, and somebody can play it like in a night, right?
Yeah.
That was amazing. It completely, enthralled me. Yeah, did it have its bumps and roads and some terrible,
Ups and downs, yeah.
asinine rules to start out with? Yeah, we've been over that, right? And is it now maybe in a place where I feel like the soul of it is a little different than the start?
Yeah,
Um,
sure, yeah, and
it,
that's fair. Yeah, it's fair. It's more match play focused than it is not, which
Yeah,
it's
and
just
so
doesn't
and
jive
it's
with
not,
us, which is fine. Yeah,
and I'm not poo-pooing that for anybody.
yeah,
I'm actually excited to try and get a game in with the new
it's good.
General's Handbook,
New GHP is good.
and
Yeah,
and then we'll see how it goes. Maybe it pulls me back in, hook, line, and sinker, and I've got 2 games to think about, but nothing right now is even touching the thrill I get out of list building Old World.
right.
From a competitive standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, from a what can I do with making up my own fun, it's where I was years ago in
Yes.
Sigmar, and I'm here with Old World, right? And so, yeah, it's just the hobby's just shifted a little bit for me, but I'm excited. Like Sigmar itself is doing fine, even though I'm not a predominantly member player, right? It is from all intents and purposes, from what I've seen, it's like tournaments are bigger than they've ever been, more well attended.
The content's still fun to listen to. It's so engaging.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll
I was like, really,
be nice to meet a bunch of new people sometime when I do dip my toe back in.
I would say, Neil, really, it's just a matter of where Sigmar was our focus and we had Old World as a small section. Like maybe it was 70-30 or 75-25 Sigmar over Old World. It just flopped. Like with this new GHB for me.
Right.
If anybody says, "Hey, want to play some Sigmar?" Absolutely. Let's have a good time. Casually. I'm not like I'll go to an event if it's local, but I'm not going to travel for it. Whereas I'll travel for Old World. So it's flopped, but it's still good. I did have a moment today actually. Waking up, having that second cup of coffee, getting over the 4th of July beers, having breakfast with my wife. I just paused. And I kind of told her, I'm like, yeah,
there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Yeah, you went robot for a second on me. I don't know if you did on your end or not.
No, I should be recording just fine. It's probably my internet. But I had a moment today, shaking off the cobwebs of last night. And the fun thing is I just had a moment where I went, 90% of the people I talk to, maybe even 95% of people I talk to regularly and hang out with and consider close friends, did not exist until after Sigmar began. And a lot of it's from Sigmar. And that was like a moment of like, wow, this game has really shaped where I am at life in a lot of ways. It's kind of fun to think about. So,
right, yeah, 100%.
Me and you, we didn't know each other until Sigmar. Now look at us.
Yeah.
Biggest, smartest, handsome men on the podcast scene.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Number 1, baby.
Arguably.
I'll argue it. But I'm delusional. Anyway, I guess we'll catch you guys all next time around. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the match play guide. Next time, keep an eye out. We'll talk some Grand Cathay, and hopefully I'll have a whole Grand Cathay army built and a game played. We'll see.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Catch you guys later.